بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلي وسلم على نبينا Muhammad wa ala ahlihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Tawasul is a means of nearness to Allah, its types and its rulings by Sheikh Muhammad Nasruddin Al-Albani rahimahullah, Doubts Rest and their Rebuter. The Dad Doubt. A weak Ahadeeth reading Tawasul. Those who seek to permit innovative forms of Tawasul use many Ahadeeth as evidence, but when we consider them we find that they fall into two categories. One, those which are authentic from the Prophet ﷺ, but not sure with these people claim and support their view. For example, the hadith of the blind man, and we have already spoken about this category. Two, those which are not authentic from Allah's Messenger ﷺ, some of them showing what they hold and others which do not indicate that. These inauthentic hadith are many, and we shall suffice with mentioning those which are well known. First hadith from Abu Sa'id Al Khudri, quoted as the saying of the Prophet ﷺ, whoever goes out from his house for the prayer and says, "Oh Allah, I ask you by the right of those who ask of you, and I ask you by the right of those of this working of mine, say do not go out for wickedness or pride," then Allah turns his face to him. It's reported by Ahmad 3/21, and the wording is his, and Ibn Majah, and it can be found fully referred in Silsilatul Ahadith Da'if number 24. And its chain of narration is weak since it is narrated through Atiyah al-Awfi from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. Atiyah is weak as it is declared by An-Nawawi and in al-Adhkar, Ibn Taymiyyah in al-Qawaid al-Jahiliyyah, and Dahabi in al-Mizan. Indeed, Dufa 881, he says they are agreed upon his weakness also by al-Hafid al-Haydami in various places in Majmu'uz Zawaid. From them, that is from them, stroke 5/126. He also mentioned by Abu Bakr ibn al-Muhib al-Balabaghi in ad-Duafa wal-Matrukin, and al-Busayri as will follow. Likewise, al-Hafid ibn Hajar says of him, truthful but makes many mistakes. He was a Shi'i Mudallis. So he clarifies this narrator's weakness, and it is due to two things. That is one, the weakness of his memory, as shown by his saying he makes many mistakes. This is like his saying about him in the Tabaqatul Mudallisin, weak in hadith, even more clear in his saying about him in Talkhisul Habir, page 241, Indian Education. While he's discussing another hadith, it contains Atiyah ibn Sa'id al-Awfi, and he is weak. To this tadlis, however, al-Hafid should have explained the type of tadlis which he performed. The tadlis with the scholars of hadith is of many types, the most well known of which are A. That a narrator reports of a narration from someone he met when in fact he did not directly hear that narration from him, or that he narrated something from a contemporary whom he did not actually meet, giving the impression that he heard it from him, for example by saying, "From so and so or so and so said." B. That the narrator calls his sheikh by an unfamiliar name or title different to the name by which he is commonly known in order to hide his true identity. The scholars have clearly stated that this is something forbidden of his sheikh, who was an unreliable narrator. He does this to hide his identity or to give the impression that he was a different reliable narrator with the same name or title. This is known as Tadlisul Shuyukh. The tadlis of Atiyah was of this forbidden type, as I have explained in my book Silsilatul Ahadith Da'ifa number 24. So in conclusion, we say that Atiyah used to narrate from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri radiallahu anhu. Then when he died, he used to sit with one of the great liars well known for lying about hadith, who was al-Khalbi. Then Atiyah used to narrate from him, but when doing so would call him Abu Sa'id to give the impression to those listening that he had these narrations from Abu Sa'id al-Khudri. This to me in itself will be enough to destroy the credibility of Atiyah. So about when we have, in addition to it, his weak memory, therefore will have been pleased for al-Hafiz to clarify the fact that it was this these evil types of tadlis which Atiyah was guilty of, even if only by indication, as he does in Tabaqatul Mudallisin, by his saying, well known for evil tadlis, as preceded it is as if al-Hafid forgot or erred or something else, as humans are prone to make mistakes sometimes, since he says about this hadith that in one narration, as he says, Abu Sa'id narrated to me, and he himself says about this. Therefore, through this we know that we are safe from Atiyah's at least, as Ibn Alan narrated from him, and some others follow him blindly in that. I say this declaration that he had it from him will only be of use if his tadlis were of the first type, but tadlis of Atiyah is of the second and worst type, and will not be cured by this settlement, since he still said, Abu Sa'id related to me, which is exactly the evil type of tadlis which he is known for. So from what has preceded, it will be clear that Atiyah is weak due to his poor memory and evil tadlis. So this hadith of his is weak. As for the declaration of Al-Hafid, that is Hasan, which has beguiled some people who have no knowledge, it is founded upon an advantage. So beware and do not be among those who are unaware. In the hadith, there are other weaknesses which I have spoken about in the affirmation book, so there is no need to repeat them, since whoever wishes can refer to that. As for the understanding of some people today, that the saying of Al-Hafid ibn Hajar in At-Taqrib amounts and to the declaration of the irreliability of Atiyah, then this is something which is not correct at all. As Sheikh Ahmad ibn Siddiq, when I met him in Zahariya level in Damascus, about this understanding, and he too found it very strange. But when the mistakes of another become many, his reliability is destroyed, as opposed to one whose mistakes are few. The first of this is weak, whereas the second is Hasan in Hadith. This is where Al-Hafid in Sharhun Nukhwa says that one whose mistakes are many in the pattern of one whose memory is pure, and he declares the Hadith of both of them to be rejected. So refer back to that, along with the footnotes of Sheikh Ali Al-Qari. These people have been deceived by what they report from Al-Hafid, that he said in Taqrij Al-Akhdakar, the weakness of Atiyah is due to his being a Shi, and due to the fact that he said that he committed tadlis. Apart from this, is acceptable. So these people, due to their positive knowledge or their lack of knowledge, do not have the courage to explain their view that the scholars do indeed make mistakes. Rather, they quote their words as if they are secure from any error or sleep, whatever, especially if their words agree with what they desire, such as is the case with this topic, since it's clear here that these words are contrary to the saying of Al-Hafid in At-Taqrib, where he shows that Atiyah is weak due to two reasons. One being a Shi'i, which is not always a cause of weakness in the correct saying, and two, that the least, which is a weakness that can be removed, as will follow. However, he seemed to weaken this reason by saying it is said, whereas in Taqrib he definitely said that he is a mudallis, just as he declares him to be a Shi. Therefore, Al-Hafid himself says of him in Tabaqatul Mudallisin, page 18, a well-known tabi, weak in memory and well-known for evil at this, and he mentions him in the fourth level, about whom he says, those about whom there is agreement, then none of their hadith are acceptables unless they state clearly that they had it directly. This is due to the frequency in reporting by means of the hadith from weak and unknown narrators, such as Baqiyah ibn al-Walid. He mentions this in his introduction, so both of these are clear statements from Al-Hafid himself, which prove that he erred in the sentence in question when casting doubt upon the status of Atiyah as a mudallis. This is one way in which there is a correlation between the saying and what is found in Taqrib. Then a further way in which there is a correlation is that in the sentence in question, if he fails to describe him, we notice another cause of his weakness, as has preceded from him in the quote from Sharhun Nukhba, and that is saying in Taqrib he makes many mistakes. All of these show us that Al-Hafid rahimahullah was not aided by his memory at the essence of his commenting upon this hadith. He therefore fell into this shortcoming, which is witnessed to by his words in other books, which have most right to be dependent upon. This is because in those books he quotes directly from the source and abridges that what they say, as opposed to what he does in Takhrijul Adhkar. Due to the weakness of Al-Awfi, a number of scholars have declared this hadith to be weak. Amongst them Al-Hafid Al-Mundiri in Taqrib, and Nawawi and Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah in Al-Qawaid al-Jahiliyyah, and likewise Al-Busayri, who said in Misbahuz Zujaja 2/52. This chain of narration is comprised of a section of weak narrators, Ati and Fudail ibn Mazruq and Al-Fadl ibn Al-Muwafiq. All of them are weak. Also Siddiq Hasan Khan said in Nuzul Al-Abrar, page 171, after quoting this hadith and the hadith of Bilal which follows. Their chains of narrations are weak, as clearly stated by Nawawi in Al-Adhkar. Second hadith, the hadith of Bilal, which was indicated by Siddiq Hassan Khan, is what is attributed to him that he said, when Allah's Messenger ﷺ went out to the prayer, he used to say, in the name of Allah, I believe in Allah, I place my reliance upon Allah, there's no action nor any strength except by will of Allah. O Allah, by the right of those who ask you, and by the right of these going out of mine, since I do not go out for evil, nor out for pride. The hadith, it is reported by Ibn Asuni in Al-Uqayli, from Abu Sulaiman ibn Abdurrahman, from Jabir ibn Abdullah, from him. This chain of narration is very weak, and his problem is Al-Wazi, his name, meaning a restaurant who did not have any reason to prevent him from lying, as I have explained in Silsilatul Hadaif, Daifa. Therefore, Nawawi says in Al-Akhdkar, the hadith is weak. One of his writers, Al-Wazi bin Nawafi Al-Uqayli, is weak by agreement, and is severely weak in Munkar. Then Al-Hafid adds to this when commenting upon the hadith, is an extremely weak hadith. Ad-Daraqutni quotes it in this form in Al-Afrad and said Al-Wazi is alone in reporting it, and that they are agreed upon his weakness, and that he is severely weak. Then the saying is actually more severe than that, since Ibn Ma'in and Nasawi said he is abandoning hadith, and Al-Hakim said he reports fabricated hadith. So it is not permissible to use it as a proof, as was done by Sheikh Al-Qawdari, Sheikh Al-Ghumari in Misbahuz Zujaja, page 56, and other innovators. Then on top of the fact that these two hadith are weak, they also in no way contain evidence at all for Tawasul by means of created being. Rather, they both refer to one of the prescribed types of Tawasul which have preceded, and that is Tawasul to Allah the Most High by means of His attributes. This is because they both mention Tawasul by means of those who make request to Allah, and by the right of those who walk it to the prayer. What is the right of those who make request of Allah? There is no doubt that that He should answer their supplication, and is answering the supplication of His worship as one of His attributes. In the mighty and majestic likewise, the right of the Muslim who walks the mosque is that Allah should forgive him and enter him into paradise, and forgiveness of Allah the Most High and His mercy and His entering those who obey Him into His paradise. All of these are attributes of His. He the blessed and Most High. So from this is known that a hadith which the innovators seek to use as a proof is reality against them, and sound and correct understanding of its causes is to be a proof for us against them. All praise and thanks are for Allah for guiding to and granting that which is correct.